Wiki of Science present here a new data article. In this case, the prediction of Skytrax airline rankings for 2011 from data collected from 2011, of course, by Pérez González. Now, this article is a second edition of a similar article published a bit earlier, but actually the content of both articles is the same, except that the tables have been re-edited so that the information is a bit more user-friendly. Now, this article is the objective is to look for this regression formula for 2011 using 2011 formula, but it's also in part a replication study because a similar study was done for 2010. So the author has kept the methods relatively similar, or actually similar between the two the studies, and use the same variables and the same criteria for selecting the airlines. Now, this is the regression formula for 2011, and we could compare that against the formula for 2010, and we see here, as we had highlighted it, that in 2010 around there was a correlation between the predictor and the criterion close to 69%. It is a bit lower in 2011, but by not too much, so it's basically the same prediction, more or less. Now, table 1 here presents the results for 2011. So here we have the customer review scoring, which ranks from on a scale from 0 to 10. The predicted scores, which rank from on a scale from 1 to 5, and the Skytrax official scoring or official ranking, which also ranks on a scale from 1 to 5. Now we could compare those two, and the correlation between those two is relatively visible here. Those airlines which Skytrax thought had higher quality tends to score higher as well in the predicted score, so customers tends to value them highly as well, and the correlation between those two is the one that we found highlighted here earlier. So the correlation between those two variables is 67%. This column here is the customer review scoring transformed to a scale similar to this one, so running from 1 to 5 as well. So we could actually see that these two follow the same pattern. So if we had this column, if we were able to easily translate or transform this variable into this, we actually wouldn't need the prediction at all. Now, this study also provides a second table, which is much more relevant for that replication the author was after. Now, here is the predicted score for 2010 using the 2010 formula. Here the predictions for 2011 using the 2011 formula, and here under simulation are the predictions for 2011 using, of course, the 2011 data, but also applying that data to the 2010 formula. And actually a good correlation between those two variables will indicate or will suggest that we could predict the future, in this case 2011, from the past, the formula of 2010. And the correlation between those two variables is actually a perfect correlation. So indeed it seems that it's possible to predict, at least in the short term, the future ranking of Skytrax airlines. Again, this is a study, it's the second study in the series, and maybe we have to wait a bit till further studies to make that to conclude such a correlation, and that's something to do in the future.